Jimmy Kay here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, my friends, Dream Theater, A Distance Over Time, the new album, as well as Avantasia.
Moonglow.
Moonglow.
Yes, Toby's back.
Moonglow, Tobias. We'll start off with Dream Theater.
Okay.
It's going to be released on February 22nd. My first impression. I always like to give a first impression.
Yeah, go ahead.
My first impression was, okay, this is not, 5 hours long like the last one. Which I did like, by the way. The Astonishing. I really enjoyed. It was very long, but it was not like Astonishing in the sense that it was more time sensitive, we'll call it. And I know the band didn't want to go overblown on this. They wanted to keep everything short and concise. And they say this album is one of their shortest albums. I think it's under 1 hour. Under 1 hour, Alan.
Didn't feel like it on the first listen, but yeah.
And also a little bit of notes for everybody out there. The band all contributed in terms of lyrics.
Yeah, they went camping.
They played as a band. They did not dial it in. They did not phone
4 months. Went camping for 4 months and made hot dogs and hamburgers and got together and kind of got a groove going and get a feel and he said it was like a summer camp for boys, musicians, right? So different approach.
First impression was, it sounds like the same old. And I listened to it again because that's the kind of band they are. You just gotta keep listening.
Exactly.
And what I found is the more I listened to it, the more I loved it. And this is definitely, I know I say this all the time, this is an incredible, I wouldn't be reviewing this if I didn't like it.
Every album's the best. If
I didn't like this, I would not be reviewing it, okay? I think this is probably one of their best albums. Because it's short and concise and it packs a punch. You got James LaBrie, he is at his finest in terms of singing and the melody, and it's catchy, it's infectious, and the guitar playing the bumblebee, and you get the bumblebee guitar playing,
bumblebee guitar solos.
But you also have the melodic and sort of soulful solos in this album. So you just got a little bit of everything. What did you think?
I agree with you. On the first listen, you're like, oh, does every song have to be epic, And then you look, at it, and you're like, oh, actually, this is. Boy, they got some songs at 4 minutes. Wow, we got some 6 minutes. So this is different. And again, it's like Rush. We said earlier, Dream Theater. You have to go over a few listens. For myself, we brought it up with the Dream Theater album, which made our album of the year.
Album of the year.
And then the Astonishing is like, oh, where do they go from here, right?
Yeah,
because I mean, every note that was ever created and known to man, they put on their album on those two albums.
That's right.
So, you're like, okay, where do you go from here? And now they went to the, shorter song, which I like. That's what I like about them. We don't have to, not every song has to be a side. That's what the fans love. I understand. But this album, again, numerous listens, you grow to appreciate it. So, you go, Fall Into the Light.
Yeah,
which is the best Metallica riff since Kill 'Em All.
That's right.
That's a riff that came right off of Kill 'Em All.
But listen to the ending of that song. It's so emotional. It just builds and it builds. It just epic, yeah. But
Room 137. There's the best song that Marilyn Manson never made. I mean,
it's got that opening creepy riff.
You're like, hey,
it's a creepy riff.
S2N, which is it's got that Seinfeld bass. Seinfeld. Sounds like the Seinfeld intro on but it's on steroids.
It's basically Rush, Necromancer, or Cygnus X1. That stop and go down.
Yeah. And you got At Wit's End, I think, and Out of Reach, which is the one Dream Theater does best.
To me, Wit's End is probably the best track on the album, hands down. It's emotional. It packs an emotional punch. I don't know. And LaBrie is just singing that chorus. So wonderful.
It's classic Dream Theater. I mean,
I hear Rush there. I hear Yes. I hear Marilyn Manson. I hear Metallica. I hear Rick Wakeman from Yes. I just hear like all their influences. They wear them on their sleeve.
And and most songs have like 5 songs in them, right? It's
like
5 different variations. But again, okay.
Paralyzed. That's another. That's like a wonderful.
No, but again, like, you go back to your original point. You're surprised when you look back and you look at the actual length of the songs. Yeah, I never realized they were that short. It just seemed like it goes on forever sometimes.
Barstool Warrior, I thought, was like another incredible track. You hear Rush, you hear Metallica, you hear Yes, you hear Dream Theater, you hear Petrucci, you hear George Rudis. You hear everything they love and everything who they are, and that's what it's on this album. It's not the astonishing, it's a short, condensed version of it all, and a lot of cool lyrics there, so definitely something worth picking up. So that's going to be released on February 22nd. All right. Avantasia.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Hey, this is David Ellison here.
Frank Bello.
We are from, obviously, Megadeth and Anthrax, also Altitudes and Attitude, and we want to introduce our new coffee from Ellison Coffee Company, our signature roast, Altitudes and Attitude, a fine Indonesian light espresso roast. Pick it up, ellisoncoffeeco.com.
Very well said.
Oh, wait a second, we forgot something. A proud sponsor of the Metal Voice.
Exactly what he said.
Now we're talking.
You know how my feelings are about Toby and the boys.
Yeah.
They're back with Moonglow.
Yep.
Again, we're talking about first impressions. You like Toby's taking some time off. He had to. I mean, he was putting out the input. Not only was he doing the Avantasia stuff at a rapid clip, but he even squeezed an Ed Guy and an Ed Guy greatest hits in there
that's right.
in the meantime. So, what Avantasia? What can we say? It's what you expect from them. Guest appearances at this time.
Creator Millie
include Hansi Kirsch, who does a fantastic job on his song.
And
he's Blind Guardian.
He's doing like 2-3 songs on the album. He's not like
job.
doing full songs. He's just sort of like popping in and out, right?
Jorn's back. Jorn Landy.
Jean.
And you've
Millie
got,
from Creator.
You've got Ernie, of course, is back to close off one of the, and our friend Bob Catley.
Yeah.
There's
Mr. Big,
everything. Eric Martin, Candice Knight. So they're all back, and I've got my Avantasia tickets. They've already been purchased. I can't wait to see them live. I'm anxious to see Jeff Tate.
Oh yes. And what do you think? What did you think of Jeff Tate on the album?
It's Jeff Tate, right?
I think he does a great job.
It's, I don't know. Maybe it's the studio, but people. Jeff Tate can't sing. Well, I don't know. I've never noticed that on record. I've never noticed it live either. But people say, we're not 20. Nobody's 20 anymore. But you hear his songs, you're like, okay, like I didn't know who was playing on it, John. I was trying to connect the voices, and you're like, oh, that's Jeff Tate. That's Jeff Tate. That's classic Jeff Tate on this album.
What about Maniac, the song Maniac, the cover song?
That one I didn't understand how it fit into the overall story.
Just shove that song in there, right?
He did off to Space Patrol with Ed Guy with Rock Me Amadeus, right?
That's right.
But I don't know how the Maniac fit into the theme. You're hearing Moonglow, and you hear some of these other, the Piper, his epic song, and he starts off with another long one. But again, going back to the Scarecrow trilogy, you had those 3 albums. That trilogy, I think, are 3 of my favorite albums of all time.
I would think this one's my favorite. Maybe because I like the vocalists on this one. I like Hansi. I like Millie from Creator.
Hansi does a really good job.
I like not Kai Hansen, but Michael Kiske. I just think that overall these are and I love Jeff Tate. So to me, these guys I like these guys a lot better in terms of vocals.
Dee Snider in the past.
I don't know.
Dee Snider did a good job. Alice Cooper did an unbelievable job. And the guy from Gamma Ray, Kai Hansen, he also did a good job. So these always had, and that's what I love about Avantasia. Not only is the musicianship fantastic, but his guest appearances, and now they're touring, and I'm very anxious to see what the cast is going to be.
Jeff Tate's been confirmed.
I was great, and I was able to see them perform live on the last tour of North America, and their one and only date here in Canada, and that was in Toby. Unfortunately, we've spoken about that in the past. Had a temperature of about 104 degrees. He came out looking like death, but gave it the best shot that he can.
Michael Kiske comes in.
And the beauty of having all these background singers that are really lead singers.
That's right.
They were all able to step forward and give Toby a rest, so he could only come out and sing 2 or 3 songs, unfortunately. Cool. Yeah. But it was still a great concert, and I'm anxious to see who's touring and who's performing on this one. So get your tickets. they're going to sell out fast. Avantasia here in North America might be somewhat of an unknown entity.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, it's going to, any venue that they'll come to will sell out fast. There's people that come from South America. There's people that come from all over the United States. They're very choosy where they play. They don't have, it's not an extended world tour.
Yeah.
But so if you've got a chance, grab the tickets up fast, because they will go for the exact reasons we're explaining today. The caliber of players.
Yep.
And the personas who are on stage. Eric Martin even this is his second album with them.
Yep.
Jeff Tate as well.
End of March is when the world tour starts, and in May is when they're doing the U.S. and Canadian date.
There you go. Tickets
so that's
purchased.
Pretty much where it is.
Already looking forward to
Seal the deal.
It's done. Moonglow. Toby's back.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Let's all celebrate because Toby's back.
I just want to say that Book of Shallows, that probably is my favorite track on the album. You know, and The Raven's Child, which is like 11 minutes long. Just again,
The Piper at the Gates of Dawn is typical. It could be some, early Ed Guy. They had some epics on there if you look at the Hellfire Club. But it's what you expect from Avantasia, that song right there.
Yep.
But again, everybody does a great job, and Hansi too. I was really impressed.
Great job.
And you're sitting there listening to it, you say, well, what took them so long to get him?
Yeah.
German and
well, there's a German connection happening. You got Millie from Creator. You got Tobias, right? You got Jeff Tate was born actually in Germany.
Oh,
even though I don't know if he speaks German, but he was born in Germany. And you got this whole German thing happening.
Jeff, I mean, he's also done a good job. And it was fun. It was fun listening to the voices and not knowing who was on the album at first. And and
Jordan.
Good. And you say, Bob Catley's back. There's the Bob Catley song. Every one of the Avantasias always has a Bob Catley.
Is Jordan from Sweden or Jordan from Germany?
Jordan is. He's part of it. He's been with them for quite some time now. I'm glad he's back too.
So would you rate it out of 10?
This one compared to the other ones, I'm going to let it grow on me a little bit. I've only listened to it a couple of times because we've got a lot of reviews to cover. Maniac is quite different, but
I like it.
It's well done.
It's well done. Jeff Tate, I think, sings on that one too.
So, I listened to it twice before. The first one, I'm like, okay, it's not quite up to par. Mm-hmm. The second listen and my third listen, you're like, okay, it's what we expect. It's what they do best. Is it my favorite Avantasia? Not so far, because like I said, the Scarecrow trilogy was very hard to beat. This one aligns with the next trilogies, which is Mystery of Time. Mm-hmm. So I have to say it's what we expect. And again, Toby had to take some time off, and he came back with this album. Is his strongest? No, but he was. I don't know how he put out the amount of. We spoke about this in the past reviews too.
Yeah.
How does he put up so much music?
Turning him out,
and he needed that time off. So this is the record that comes back.
For me, Alan, I know you have other favorites, but a guy who's bought Avantasia albums in the past, I never was. It's not like I don't think it's quality. It's just not my type of music. It's just too much power metal for me, and I kind of like my music a little more bite. But I know why people love it. Don't get me wrong. It's good music. This is probably my favorite. And I know I say that all the time.
He says that every album that comes out, the latest album is always Jim's favorite.
This is probably my favorite of all the Avantasias that I've heard. Maybe there's one or two I haven't heard.
The fact that you like it is I'm encouraged. Because you've been very critical of them in the past.
8 out of 10.
It's not my cup of tea.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for me, Alan.
Anyway, anything Tobias does is golden in my eyes. And here's another strong effort from.
But wait, Alan, wait. And for Dream Theater, I'm going to tell everybody it's a 9 out of 10 for me. A 9 out of 10. And I compare it to the Dream Theater self-titled album that we put number 1. It's got that kind of feel on it.
I have to
short, sweet, to a bang.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. There you have it. Pick them up, Dream Theater, and also the new Avantasia.
Moonglow.